Chatters, chatties, welcome home for a Great American Chat, a podcast where we chat about great American media. I'm Chad Maurice, and happy Friday. Hope your Friday is going okay so far. As you can see, I have a halo on my head because today we are chatting about the movie An Unlikely Angel, which premiered this past weekend on Great American Family. Another movie that premiered this past Monday was Wedding Cake Dreams, which was a cute movie. It was about a girl who puts a piece of wedding cake under her pillow and dreams of her soulmate. And then years later, she meets him at her sister's wedding. So that was a fun one. If you get a chance, check that one out. I'm going to turn the chat on here. So if you have any comments while we're chatting about this movie, you're going to let me know. All right, here we go. An Unlikely Angel. Oh, wait, let me fix this. Get there. There we go. All right, An Unlikely Angel. It premiered Saturday, August 12th. The synopsis says, Janie is a power player in the boardroom, but is falling apart at the thought of becoming a mom. A silent prayer is answered when an angel intervenes and fast forwards her life. Can Janie learn to trust God and find her new purpose? The movie stars Jillian Murray, who you know from Prescription for Love and A Brush with Christmas, and Mees and Robert Amaya. Directed by Darrell Nelson and written by Rebecca Rogers. Okay, here's our cast of characters. We have Janie. She's a pregnant workaholic, and she is not ready for motherhood. There's David, Janie's husband, Samantha, her daughter. There's Buck, Janie's father. And then Gabe is a cab driver who shows up every time you turn around. The movie begins with some overhead shots of New York City, and we hear a voiceover of two men talking. Hey, we got somebody here. Ladina? Hey, thanks for being here. What's it say? What you say? It was a cute movie with a unique storyline. Yes, I agree. Definitely. It was unique. Okay, so we hear a voiceover of two men talking. The one voice asks, what is the assignment? And the other says, there's a woman I want you to watch. Her name is Janie, and I think she might need help. And the other voice asks, with what? And the other answers, just pay attention. You'll see. Then we see a pregnant woman on the roof of a building. She's hyperventilating into a paper hospital bag, which has the name Murray Hill Hospital on it. And there's a little inside joke. Did you catch that? Because this is our main character, Janie, and she's played by Jillian Murray, and so has her last name on this hospital bag. The paper bag she's breathing into flies out of her hands, and she is freaking out about becoming a mother, and because she just found out she is having a girl, and she says to her coworker, I don't know anything about girls. She says, I was a tomboy when I was a kid, and all my friends were boys. Her coworker says, why don't you try that mantra thing that you have on your desk? That thing that says, don't worry about anything, pray for everything. Her coworker also says, you got to pull yourself together because we're about ready to go into a board meeting and you have to make a pitch. So Janie looks up at the sky and prays to God for help. Then we see a cab driver named Gabe looking up at the roof of his cab and talking to someone. But there's no one in his cab. Who's he talking to? Is this guy crazy? He asks his imaginary friend, what it is you want me to do now? Or what is it do you want me to do now? Then the paper bag that Janie was hyperventilating into falls on the windshield of his cab. He says, right, I'm on my way. So Gabe drives over to the hospital and meets David, who is buying a baby carrier that hooks onto the back of a bike, and David is Janie's wife. Gabe works for a ride service called Guide Ride, and David tells Gabe he has a baby on the way. Gabe tells David to live life one day at a time and don't forget to enjoy it. Then we see Janie in her board meeting, and she works at a place that manufactures toys or designs toys or something like that. She listens to a pitch about a doll that one of her coworkers thinks they should sell, but she thinks video games are the way to go. So she pitches an edgy, violent gaming series for girls called Girl Power Extreme. Then Janie goes home, and David shows her the baby room that he has been working on. She tells him they are having a girl, and then she starts to freak out again. And he says to her, come on, calm down. Let's just take it one day at a time. She says, I'm not built to be a mom. I'm a businesswoman, not a baby woman. Next day, Janie is at work and goes into labor. Gabe pulls up in his cab and takes her to the hospital, and she winds up having a baby girl that they name Samantha. Janie tries to hold Samantha, but she is crying and fussing, so David picks her up, and then she quiets down. Janie is about to leave the hospital and gets a call from her boss. She tells David, hey, I have to go to work. Gabe pulls up again to give her a ride to work. Janie is on the phone the entire time she's in Gabe's cab, talking to someone at work and giving Gabe directions. Gabe tells her that he is an angel, and she doesn't believe him. She says, yeah, right. Let me guess, you're also Spider-Man in Times Square. She tells him to turn left, turn left, turn left. He says, are you sure? She says, yes, left, left, left. So he turns left right into a pickup truck. Crash. There's a big accident. Next, we see Janie waking up in a hospital bed. David gets a call at home telling him that she woke up. He runs to the hospital, and Janie wants to know where Samantha is. She says, bring her in. I probably need to breastfeed her. And David gives her a little funny look. Then David explains to her that she has been in a coma for 6 years, that they are living with her father, and they are no longer in New York City. Janie's father brings Samantha into the room. Samantha freaks out because she's not used to seeing her mother talking and smiling, so she runs out. Janie tells her father that Samantha hates her. Her father says, no, don't be silly. She's just overwhelmed. She asks, why did this happen? He says, I don't know, but all things work together for good for those who love God. He tells Janie that she is their miracle. David goes out in the hallway to talk to Sam. Samantha says, she looks different. And David says, you would too if you were asleep for 6 years. She asks, when is mommy going to come home? And wants to know if she will read her bedtime stories. David says, sure she will, and she will tuck you in every night. Samantha says, mommy didn't have anyone to tuck her in for a long time, did she? David says, no, she didn't. Oh, you got to keep an eye on this actress playing Samantha. Her name is Delilah De Castro. I'm sure we're going to see more of her in the future because she is adorable in this movie. Really cute. And she acts just as well as the adult actors. Samantha goes back into her mother's room and asks, do you know any bedtime stories? So Janie tells her a story about a princess who has been asleep for a long time until her prince woke her up. Samantha asks, does the princess have a little girl? And Janie says, yes, she does. She begins to tell Samantha this bedtime story, and we see Gabe looking on from outside the room. And then after that, we get a cute montage of Janie doing physical therapy with David and Samantha watching her and kind of like helping her. Samantha's like lifting dumbbells with her. Next, Janie calls David at home and says, bring me some clothes. I'm going to need something to wear when I get discharged. And David's like, clothes? What clothes? I don't have any clothes. I don't have any of your clothes anymore. Apparently, David didn't think Janie was ever coming out of that coma because he must have thrown all her clothes away. Samantha says, maybe we can take her some of Aunt Kelly's clothes. And Janie is like, Aunt Kelly? Who's Aunt Kelly? David says she's a friend. So they bring her some of Kelly's clothes. And Janie says, these clothes look really big. And David says, that's funny, because Kelly has a nice figure. Janie gives him some funny looks and asks, "How do you know Kelly?" David says, "She is our neighbor, and Samantha is best friends with her son." David takes Janie home, and Samantha is there with a big smile on her face to greet her. On the ride home, David tells Janie that he is no longer in medical school and that he works for her father. Then we get to meet Kelly. Oh, Kelly, and she is perfect. She is attractive. She owns her own business. It's a bakery, so she can bake, she can cook. Kelly tells David, "My water heater is on the fritz again." And he says, "Well, let's go check out your pilot light." They go next door to check out Kelly's water heater, and Janie spies on them through the window and then drops to the floor when she sees them returning. Then we get a little funny scene when David and Kelly find Janie on the floor. Samantha also sees her on the floor and asks, "What are you looking for?" Janie says, "A hairbrush." So Samantha brings a hairbrush to her. David sees Sam holding this hairbrush, says to her, "Do you want Kelly to do your hair?" Kelly can do hair too. Then he says to Janie, "Kelly can do your hair too." Oh, Janie is just thrilled about this. So Kelly does their hair, gives them braids, and Janie is not too thrilled about her hair. They go down to the dock to visit with Buck, Janie's father, and to see their boat, which is named Sweet Dreams, which is very appropriate. Later that night, we see Janie and David in bed getting ready to go to sleep. She leans over for a kiss goodnight, and he gives her a hug. She was expecting a little bit more than just a hug. Next day, Janie takes Samantha shopping and sees a poster in a window display of the video game she pitched to her toy company 6 years ago. She takes Samantha to a salon to get her hair done and to shop for some new outfits. Samantha is not too thrilled about having curls in her hair, and she doesn't like this pink outfit that Janie bought for her. The expressions on her face are priceless. Janie and David talk about how they don't have the finances they used to. Janie calls Connie, her former coworker, and says, "Hey, I see the video game I created was turned into a movie and a TV series. I think I should get some money for that." But her coworker says, "They would never give you anything." She says, "But if you want to come back to work, I'm sure they would hire you back." Janie realizes Samantha doesn't like her new hairdo, so she offers to brush the curls out of it. She looks at Samantha's hair and says, "Well, it didn't turn out like I thought it would." Samantha says, "That's okay. I know what to do." So she calls Kelly. Kelly rushes over with all her beauty supplies and with dinner. She helps David with the dishes while Janie sulks outside on a tire. Her dad comes out and gives her a pep talk. Janie says, I think Samantha doesn't like me. And I think that Kelly is my replacement." That's what she's saying to her dad. Her dad says, "This is the way it's been for the past 6 years. You can't expect everything to change in just 2 days." He says, "Trust God. It's in God's hands." Janie goes back inside to socialize with David and Kelly, but she feels like a third wheel. After Kelly leaves, Janie says to David, "If you have feelings for Kelly, it's okay. Just tell me." David says, "Hey, just because I threw away all your clothes away, that doesn't mean I don't love you." No, he didn't say that. He says, "You are the love of my life. I loved you when you were in a coma, and I still love you, and nothing ever happened between Kelly and I." Then they have an interrupted kiss caused by a call from Janie's coworker Marcus, who says, "I hear you have a pitch for the upcoming season," and he wants her to come to New York City to discuss it. He wants her to be there on the 29th, which is Sam's birthday. David gets upset that she's going to go to the city on Sam's birthday. Janie goes shopping to buy Samantha a birthday gift and decides to buy her video games. She literally runs into Gabe while leaving the video store. Oh, and then we get my favorite scene here. Janie and Gabe sit down outside a cafe to talk. She doesn't remember who he is. He tells her again that he is an angel and that he is there to help her. She asks, why me? And he says, I'm the answer to your prayer. She says, what prayer? And he says, you know, the one on the rooftop when you looked up and said, help me. She says, oh, I hardly remember that. And Gabe tells her that God heard it. Gabe says, prayer isn't something that you just do once. It is a way to be. He says, it's just like the scripture says, you pray without ceasing. Later that night, we see Janie praying again. She thanks God for taking care of Samantha and asks the Lord to help her with her marriage. Then she gets a call from her coworker, Connie, telling her that they will schedule her pitch first thing in the morning and she can be back on a plane by noon so she won't miss any of Samantha's birthday. She tells Connie, I'll be there. And then she goes back to the video store and buys more games to do research for her pitch. She goes to the dock and sees her father, David, and Samantha getting ready to take the boat out for a ride to celebrate Samantha's birthday a day early. Samantha says, come with us, Mommy. But Janie says, I can't. But then look who shows up. Kelly with her son. So Janie quickly changes her mind and says, yes, get me on that boat. I want to go too. She obviously doesn't want Kelly spending time with David. Then we see everyone sitting around a campfire roasting marshmallows, and guess what? Kelly can sing and play the guitar. No surprise. That woman can do anything. Kelly says to Janie, tell us about this business trip you're going on tomorrow. And Samantha gets upset since tomorrow is her birthday. No, so she walks off. Actually, she goes and sits in Buck's lap. After they get home, Janie and Samantha have a nice scene together. Janie tells her it's just a business trip and it'll only take half the day, so she won't miss her birthday. Janie says, I have an early birthday gift for you, and gives her a couple video games, and Samantha is not too impressed. Apparently, she's not into video games. So she politely says, thanks. Janie sees her old toy trunk and the toys she played with when she was Sam's age. So she shows Sam how fun these toys are. Janie goes to New York City and tells her toy company that they shouldn't do video games, that they should go old school and bring back physical toys that kids can play with like Etch-a-Sketch and dolls. Her boss loves the idea and wants her to stay to pitch it to the higher ups, but she says, I can't. I have to leave. It's my daughter's birthday. He says, you can't leave. She says, okay, I quit. She runs outside to get a cab to the airport, and Gabe pulls up. Gabe says, great job back there. She says, you heard that? He says, oh, yes, so did he. Janie says, you mean God? And Gabe says, when we speak, God listens. Janie says, I've missed so many birthdays and loose teeth and bedtime stories, but not anymore. I need to get home. I want to see my family. Gabe says, sounds like you're ready to go back. So he turns the steering wheel and runs into a big truck. Smash! They get into another accident. Janie wakes up in a hospital with David standing by her bed. She asks, where's Samantha? The nurse brings her in, and Samantha is a baby. Then Janie realizes that Gabe took her back 6 years to right after the first accident happened. She calls her boss at the toy company and tells her that she's going to take maternity leave. Then we get a flash forward 6 years. Samantha is a 6-year-old again, and Janie is holding a new baby boy. So she and David now have 2 kids. Then we see Gabe looking on. Janie's father says to Gabe, beautiful day, isn't it? And he says, amen. And then we see him turn and walk away. I like this ending. That was a nice ending there when he turns and walks away. So, let's chat about this movie. No surprise, I love this movie. I knew I was going to like it, but before I even saw it, when I saw the trailer. Because if you watched or listened to the last episode I did about the Abigail Mysteries recap, I told Nicole that I love movies that have angels and spiritual figures in them and heavenly beings and all that. So this movie hit the spot for me. It reminded me a lot of the Mrs. Miracle Christmas movies that starred Doris Roberts. And this could actually become a movie series. I could see this. I could see Gabe visiting a different family each movie and helping them out. The two leads, Jillian and Aaron, they're good together. And I like that this movie featured a married couple. Although we didn't get a kiss in this movie, did we? I don't think we did. I don't remember seeing one. There's an interrupted kiss, but I don't think we see them kissing, which is realistic because they were playing a married couple. I'm just kidding. I love Gabe's character and how he's helping Janie see her future. It kind of reminds me of the movie It's a Wonderful Life. And like I said before, I love the cute little actress playing Samantha. Delilah De Castro, I think is where you pronounce her name. I think she's fantastic. And like I said before, she's just as good as the adults. So if you haven't seen this movie, you have to check it out. It airs again tomorrow night, Saturday the 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern, right before the premiere of the new Saturday movie, which is called Stepping into Love. That premieres at 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. And its synopsis says, a conventional curator facing financial crisis works with an avant-garde artist to develop an unconventional exhibit. And this movie stars Jenna Michno and Christian Howard, two people I've never seen before. So we'll see how this movie is. It's always fun to see new actors in these movies. And actually, I have a trailer for this movie. Let's check it out.
Saturday, August 19th at 8, a Great American Family original. An art curator must keep a gallery afloat by coloring outside the lines.
So what is your idea for this record-breaking exhibit that we've hired you for?
Shoes.
Shoes.
If ice cubes and popcorn can be art, then why not shoes?
But first, she has to let go and walk a mile in someone else's shoes. Stepping into Love premieres Saturday, August 19th at 8 on Great American Family.
Okay, so his little exhibit that he's going to do in this art museum must be about shoes, because he says something about shoes in that trailer. Now, also premiering this Monday, you got another one, August 21st at 8 o'clock Eastern, is Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters. And the summary for this one says, a wealthy businessman learns that his daughter's sudden engagement to a missionary, let me start that again. A wealthy businessman learns of his daughter's sudden engagement, to a missionary, and makes it his mission to make sure she is closer to home. When his efforts go awry, he is forced to reconsider what being a strong father really means. And this movie stars Robin Lively, who you might know from the 80s movie Teen Witch. And she stars in this movie with her real-life husband, Bart Johnson. So we get another movie that features a married couple. So that'll be good. And this looks, from what I've read and seen about this movie, this looks and sounds like an emotional one. So we'll have to see. And I do have a trailer for this one. Let's watch this one.
Premiering Monday, August 21st, a pure Flix original movie.
A man can argue whether God exists, but when he looks at his daughters, he just knows.
Family takes patience.
She's 16. She's not done cooking yet.
Can we microwave her?
Inspired by the best-selling book.
Daughters are gifts to guide, love, teach, but they're not for us to keep.
Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters. Premieres Monday, August 21st at 8 on Great American Family.
All right, so look for that this Monday, and join the network on X tomorrow night and Monday to live tweet both of these movies. using the hashtag stepping into love tomorrow night. And on Monday, it'll be hashtag strong fathers, strong daughters. And wait, did I say live tweeting? I don't think you can say live tweeting anymore because it's not called Twitter anymore. It's now called X. What do you say? Live X? Live posting on X? I don't know. Something like that. Now, also next week is the Great American Book Club on Thursday, August 24th. Join Cammie and Father Randy. They will be discussing the book The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. And you can sign up for the Great American Book Club on the Great American Family's website, greatamericanfamily.com. They will email you a Zoom link. And also on the Great American Family website is the link for movie reviews. So let the network know what you thought of An Unlikely Angel right at the top of their website. There's a little link that says movie review. You click on that. It'll take you to a form that you fill out. And they always like to know, always like to hear from the fans. They always like to know what your input is on these movies and what you thought of them. Oh, we got to know what's Leanne. Oh, this would make for a wonderful series. Yeah, I agree. I loved it. I also hope there will be more of the Abigail mystery movies. Do you think that we will? Ooh, yeah. I think there's a good chance that the Abigail mystery movie will be turned into a movie series. I don't know for sure, but there's a good chance that it might be. Yeah, I think both of these would actually be a good series, good movie series. So thanks, La Deanna. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Thanks for being here, and thanks for your comments. So that's it. I will see you tomorrow night on X for Stepping In. Is that movie Stepping Into Love? Is that the name of the movie? I believe so. I will see you then. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. And thank you for supporting the network and this podcast. And until next time, you keep the faith, keep smiling, keep your friends close, and keep your great American family closer. Have a good one. Thanks for being here.